Here, Jeff here. Hey, Jeff, we are live. We are live. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good. And,
Good morning.
morning. Bon will be here in a second. Should be anyway. How you been?
Doing good. How things going for you?
Good. Busy, busy. It's that time of year. Everybody's getting geared up.
Right. I'm excited. Excited for February the 2nd and 3rd.
Are you? Vaughn
Yes,
just
sir.
joined us.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Excellent. What do you say, Jeff?
How's it going, Vaughn?
Great. Good to see you guys.
Good to see you
Likewise.
all.
We clean these glasses off. I can see a little bit.
Yeah, it's so tough to get us all three together. So I just kind of wanted to do a little YouTube live, and it's going out into a couple of my Facebook groups, the store page, the school page, and stuff like that. So
Yes.
let me get our little advertising thing taken care of here. We'll get that scrolling across the bottom. But you know, you and I had all three of us had talked a while back when we started this thing, and we really just kind of wanted to do. I think we'll tell the real story how this all happened to the people that came. It's pretty amazing. But anyway, we kind of wanted to do something that would help people from the business standpoint, because we know there's a lot of events out there, and I do them, every month, teaching people how to clean a house, how to clean a building, all of that. And used to do the Houston event, and probably going to pick that up again next year maybe. But always teaching about cleaning, but I always thought we lacked in the business area, the business sense of it, helping people, because it's more than just looking at a dirty roof or a dirty house or a dirty building and say, I'm going to go out and start a business.
Right.
So that's kind of what the goal is of this, or not kind of, it is to talk more about the business systems. One of the things I'm really excited about is that we're going to have an actual CPA here that will talk about money matters. And all three of us are married. I'm sure we've all got our little stories about, and I know Vaughn talk a little bit about that, about the money and the personal versus the business and that type of thing.
Yeah, well, from a personal experience, just when you finally start out and when you start getting somewhat, motivated and your business start to grow, a lot of times, just from my experience, we didn't have a lot of capital start up. So with that being said, a lot of times you have to pull from your resources, whether you had another job or a job where other than power washing, or your wife had a job, you have to pull those resources in. And sometimes that caused a lot of rift, because maybe you need to buy a surface cleaner. That surface cleaner is $900. The job will pay for it, but the hardest part is to explain that to your mate. Like, listen, this job will pay for the surface cleaner. Many times she don't want to hear that right then. All she's seeing is $900 is leaving out the house.
Right.
So we had to jump through a lot of those hurdles and navigate through that. But as you grow, this is something that I know you guys are covering, we'll cover in the class. You got to develop some type of business account. And the discipline of that is to keep your business finances separate from your household finances. And I tell you what, if you can get that hurdle cleared, I tell you what, you're on your way to success.
Exactly.
Right.
And I think a lot of it has to do with Jeff creating a budget, learning how to read profit and loss statements, but creating that budget from the get-go of how much it's going to take to operate your business. It's not about just going out and buying a pressure washer and going out and cleaning a couple driveways, if that's a side hustle or just, what you're trying to do. But talk a little bit about actually creating a business and how some of those numbers will come together, and probably what the CPA will talk about.
Well, first of all, I recommend that when you're going in business to invest in some type of software that gives you those P&L statements. Well, in our company, we use QuickBooks Online, and pretty much, you can download it on your phone as well. And, you out in the field, you're getting your gas receipts, you can take a picture of it, enter it into your systems and different things of that nature. But I highly recommend that across the board, getting a software that's going to help you to read those P&L statements and, keeping up with your, that balance, that profit and balance sheet, because a lot of times we'll look at the profit and the P&L sheets, but we don't really understand the importance of kind of like what Vaughn was saying, well, pulling this resource from over here and this resource to do this and do that. And sometimes it would offset your balance. So I'm excited, Doug, about, that you bringing in a licensed, a professional CPA to explain that, to letting guys know the importance of having some type of software to manage your finances.
Yeah, and she'll also be able to talk a little bit about that decision of being a sole proprietor, or when do you become an LLC or an Inc. or, whatever. Those are other choices that have to be made, along with ramifications of which choice you make, and you want to make sure that you're going to make the right one. So I just always think one of my questions that I always ask people is, when they're starting a business, how much money do you need to make to support your family? It kind of starts there. And then how much business do you have to bring in to afford that, to be able to bring that in, along with any of the expenses that come along with the business, which we'll go over quite a bit. I know one of the things I'm excited about too is the fact that we are inviting, encouraging wives to attend with their husbands. It's not just a husband-wife conference. I've had a lot of calls about that. Guys that own or single operator, may not be married, or wife can't make it. Come on anyway. We can you're still going to learn a lot. But I think, Vaughn, one of the things, talk a little bit about the breakout sessions we're going to have with the wives and the husbands.
Well, Doug, a lot of times, it kind of goes hand in hand when we talk about the finances. A lot of times when you pull resources from the home, a lot of times that could create rift with your spouse. So what we want to kind of create with this conference is allow your spouse to come in to gotta get the firsthand experience of, what actually goes on in the power washing business. My wife used to tell me all the time, you just bought bleach last week. You don't need another ball valve. So, and a lot of times she don't see the bolts and screws of it, how important it is, how efficient we can be by getting these items. So bringing your wives and your spouse in will give you actually the spouse a first-hand experience, if you will, of what actually goes on in our industry. And then you guys go back home and put out a spreadsheet or put out a piece of paper, and now you collaborate and make sense. Hey, you know what? Let's take 10% of what you earn. Let's put that in a savings, or let's give that here. And it just bring them in a lot closer and keep them off of that island, if you will.
Right. Can I touch on that a little bit, Doug, if it's okay?
Absolutely.
Well, one of the things that Sharon and I done in our businesses is that we want to make sure we involved in each other's business to know what is going on in those businesses. For instance, Sharon is pretty much in Mr. Shine Power Wash. She pretty much monitor my books and stuff like that. So she knows when I have to buy another surface cleaner, she knows the cost, and she knows what we can afford to spend out and what we can't spend at that present time. And also pretty much getting her involved in the marketing department, because we consider we went away from a marriage to now we're 9 to 5, we're a team now. So we have to see what's her strengths and what's her weaknesses, and what's my strengths and what's my weaknesses, so we're able to combine that together to build a successful company.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's you know, I remember at a time being broke, not having any money.
That was a
And
long time ago, though, Doug.
long time ago. And a couple different times it was, you know. So
Yeah, a couple of times. I agree. I've been through that.
yeah. And so you know, one of the things that I've always believed, and actually a former pastor of mine really drilled this into me, is that women just sometimes seem to have just this innate intelligence or whatever it is about money. And so it didn't take me long before to learn to start actually bouncing things off of my wife and say, hey, I'm looking at, you know, purchasing this, and we talk about it. And, you know, she sometimes makes some good points and sometimes she'd make some bad points that I just have to ignore and go off and doing it. No, I'm just kidding you. But, you know, so it's always, I think, always a good idea to, especially if your spouse is going to work in the business, like Kathy's working in our businesses now. I just think it's always a good idea to kind of bounce those things off of each other, because you just never know the viewpoints sometimes they're going to see you just never saw, and you thought, wow, you're right, I need to probably hold off on this and see what happens. And a lot of times it just works out for the best when you do that. So
oh no, bro, Doug, you're absolutely right. And I just have a testimony, you know, personally of experiencing that, because as long as I've been in business since I would say 98. I started full-time, with power washing. I started washing cars initially. And so I had a lot of success washing cars. Matter of fact, I used to tell a story. In 6 months in 1998, I made $20,000 in 6 months just washing cars in a little small town. And at that time, you could only get probably $10 to $15 to wash a car. Now, I mean, it's $75 just to do a basic wash anywhere you go. So you can see how I might need to go back into washing cars.
You're right.
More I think about it. But no, so I have this A personality type. So I was always the guy, I'm running it, right? And so I would cover marketing, I would cover finances, I would cover cold calling, I would cover ordering equipment, I would cover all that. Well, a few years ago, matter of fact, not even a few years ago, about a year ago, I asked my wife to just take over the finances. You know, I said, Quinta, I'm gonna trust you with this. I think you do a good job. I think you got a grace on you to do it. Just take care of all the finances. Of course, I had all the spreadsheets and I gave them to her. And that has actually turned our business around, because now all I need to do is focus on bringing in the resources. She tell me where we are. She does the tithing. Of course, we tithe off our income to the kingdom. She does the tithing. She does all that. All she needs to tell me, baby, this is the number of what we need this month, and we need it in 27 days. Well, that's easy for me.
right.
Well, you know, because all I got to do is cold call, market, you know, and the resources coming in. But just relaxing, guys, and really being a true partnership, other than just going out to dinner or just hugging your wife's neck. I think this part of the spouse coming in is really what a catapult. If you're not married, that's one thing, but this really catapult our business. And I think it's us as kind of Caesar model, bring in the spouses, and maybe your wife is working and the husband is working in a different job, and she's doing an entrepreneurship. And well, it don't take all that. It don't take another blow dryer. You don't need another curling iron. Well, you know. So this will help kind of husband and wife, if you will, to kind of collaborate and take your business to the next level. That's what we're talking about.
Absolutely. I think that is just so key. It allows you to be you.
Yes.
And like you said, challenge issued and challenge accepted. 27 days. Here we go. All right. We'll have it in 20. So we got a little grace period.
That's right.
Right.
So, Well, awesome. I'm really looking forward to it. I don't want to hold everybody up. We've been talking a little bit about what we're going to do. We'll come back here probably in a couple days, and we'll talk more about some of the other subjects, the commercial and the creating relationships, residual selling. Jeff, real quick, close us out just with a little tidbit or a little appetizer of what we're going to talk about. Residual. I know that's huge with you and multiple streams and all of that.
Right. Well, Doug, I'm excited to share what has not only worked for me, but to show others what are some of the keys, because there's a lot of people out there with potential. And I like to say the definition of potential is untapped power. And a lot of guys have that potential, but they just don't have the keys to unlock it. So that's one of the things that I'm excited about, not just to show them about how to create residual income and show them how to create residual income. I'm excited about sharing a little bit about passive income as well, because passive income is something that you invest in and you're making money while you're sleeping. Who don't want to make money while they sleep? So that's the goal to all of us, to make money while we sleep. And I'm excited to share some of those keys to help guys. And that's a passion that I have, to help others tap into their untapped potential, Doug.
Right. So everybody, we're talking about the Difference Makers Conference, February 2nd and 3rd. That's going to be right here in Kingwood, Texas. It's $159 a person. If you're bringing your wife gets to attend free. And it's going to be at the Courtyard Marriott. We've got the link scrolling across down below there. pressurewashingschool.com/events is where you can register. And we've got the hotel information. They've got some discounted rooms for it. So check that out. If you have any questions whatsoever, you can hit me up on Facebook. You can hit Von Cross up, Jeffrey Blackman. And of course, text me at 281-883-3630. And man, we're looking forward. We've got quite a few signups already, and just looking forward to it. So we'll close this out. And go ahead, give me closing words.
Throw this in there.
Okay.
If the next guy that or a couple that would see this and want to come to the conference, they, man, I got to get to the conference. I would like to be a part of that. What Ultimate Choice to do personally, we'll take 50% off the next person that wants to be a part of it. The next couple, Ultimate Choice will take 50% off that. The next couple that would register and say, hey, we need to be here. We need to be at that Difference Makers Conference in Houston, Texas. The next couple that would come across and register, Doug, let me know, and I got 50% of that tab. Ultimate Choice to take care of that.
You got it.
All right.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you, Von.
Yes, sir. I think it'll be a life-changing moment for him, Doug. I just feel it'll be a life-changing moment, and we want to see these couples really get in here, and I think it'll help them out a lot.
Absolutely. Same here. So awesome. We'll talk to you guys here. We'll get another one scheduled and come back and talk about some more of the things that we're going to be having at the Difference Makers Conference. Appreciate y'all taking your time out of the day, Jeffrey and Bond, to help us talk to some people and hopefully get them to the event. So again, it's February 2nd and 3rd, right here in Kingwood, Texas, pressurewashingschool.com/events. Jeffrey, I know you got to have the last word, so go for it, buddy.
Be there. Don't be late, because it's going down in Kingwood, Texas, February the 2nd and 3rd. I wouldn't miss it if I was you. It's going to be fire.
Peace out. We'll see y'all.
See you guys.